welcome to my kitchen. Today we will be making gluten-free Jamaican style chicken noodle soup. Our ingredients are really basic, really simple for most any type of soup. Well, this being Jamaican chicken noodle soup, this is what we've got. Got about a half of an onion and 3 or 5 cloves of garlic chopped up nicely. Some bouillon, chicken flavored, that's what we're making. We've got some vegetables to add to our soup. Carrots, about 7 to 9 carrots, 3 potatoes. We've got about 3/4 of a pumpkin. This just adds great flavor and texture to the soup. Some tomatoes, about 3 corns on the cob, and about 2 pounds of chicken. Some thyme seasonings to make everything right. And in case you like it a little spicy, we've got a little pepper in the back that we can throw in later on. We're going to start with our onions. A little bit of oil at the bottom just to get everything going. Let that heat up while I introduce you to our main ingredient, the key to making this a gluten-free meal, is Jeffin's Thin Noodles. They are egg-free, they are gluten-free, and they're kosher. I find these in my grocery store's kosher aisle. If you don't see them there, ask them for it. They may be willing to carry it. They are excellent, and they really make the soup stand out. It's such a difference. And now that I've found them, I'm able to enjoy chicken noodle soup like I did when I was a kid. Alright, we're going to start, as I said, and I've got about 12 cups of water that we may not use all of. Okay. Let's get our onions and garlic right in there. Now, please feel free to make any alterations. This is my recipe, and you are more than free to change it in any way that you see necessary for you. If you don't want carrots, I think they're fabulous, but if you don't want carrots, then don't include them. I do believe that when some of the carrots, get the flavor of the soup. I mean, what is soup without carrots? I don't know. Potatoes, same thing. But if you want other vegetables, please feel free. You may add vegetables in. And you don't want these to fry a lot. You just want like the flavor to get into the pot all around. Alrighty. I'm going to add in some chicken. And you don't want the fire too high, but you want it to have that nice sizzle sound as soon as the chicken hits the pot. And just let the chicken kind of brown, just a little bit of brown. You don't want to cook it all the way through just yet. You want some of that nutrient to flavor the water. Start adding water. That was about 6 cups of water that I just put in. You're going to let that go ahead and get the flavor of the chicken in it. And we can start adding. Now, I like my carrots really on the softer side for soup, as far as soup is concerned. So I'm going to add those in now. Just get them all in there. And then the potatoes, same thing. I'm going to add those all in. All right. Okay. Now you want your fire on high. Be sure that that's going to cook all of that together. It smells awesome already. You can start adding some of your seasonings. Fabulous. There we go. And mix that all up together. Okay, I'm going to add a little more water. And not make a mess all over the place. There we go. Add the rest of these seasonings in. There. That's fabulous. And while that heats up, I'm going to cover that for a little while and just let that really get nice and hot. And then when that gets nice and it starts boiling, it has a nice roll to the boil, you can go ahead and add a little more water. And at that time, I would suggest adding some of the softer vegetables that quickly cook out. So you don't want to add those just yet. The pumpkin, the tomatoes, and any other greens and soft vegetables. Now, I am working with non-cobbers today. Corn without the cob. So I'm not going to add those in yet. However, if I was working with corn on the cob, I would have added those already with the potatoes so that the cob gets nice and soft and it extracts all of the vitamins and puts it into the soup where we want it. That smells. My dogs have decided that they want to play tug of war with their rope right now, so excuse them for their manners or lack thereof. They enjoy my cooking as well. They get homemade treats. They don't miss one meal at all. Let's see how our pot is going. Very well. I'm going to let it continue to get hot and boil for a little bit. Just a little bit longer. I'm going to add a few more of the bouillons. Now, as far as how many you need to add, that depends on how much water, how large your pot is, how much water you're using, and your own personal taste. I'm not a huge fan of salt. I do not use a lot of salt with my cooking. So you want to taste the water and make sure that it has enough flavor, but you don't want to overkill the flavor with the salt. But I do think I'm going to add a couple more in it. And let's put these guys in now. Actually, I think I'm going to break those apart. There we go. There we go. And that looks wonderful. Let's get a quick taste. We just want to see how salty or non-salty the water may or may not be. It's definitely not salty yet, which is a good thing. I can taste the flavor of the thyme. I put about 5 sticks of thyme and maybe about a teaspoon of dried thyme. I love adding thyme, especially to soup. Anything with meat in it, really. Add thyme to your food, add thyme to your life. And that's boiling fabulously. Now, what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and at this time, now that there's a steady rolling boil, I'm going to add the rest of my vegetables. And I can add a little more water. Add a little more seasoning. And then we're going to cover it and let it sit for about 20 minutes. There. And then while it's going to resume its boil, and in about 20 minutes, we'll go ahead and add our thin noodles, our gluten-free thin noodles. And then now these gluten-free noodles are made from potato flour. So in essence, we are adding more potato to the soup. Some of them will boil out into the soup itself and make it a little thicker. The rest of them will just be this yummy noodle at the bottom of your soup. So we're going to leave that as it is, and in 20 minutes we'll go ahead and add the noodles, and at this point your soup is really finished. When the noodles go in, you let it boil for about another 10 or 15 minutes, and your soup is ready. So let's take one last peek, give it a quick stir. I'm going to turn this just off of high and let it do its thing. And we'll be right back. And we're back. Now that this is boiling really, really well, it's an excellent time to add our noodles. And this is a 9-ounce bag, and I'm going to use at least half of the bag. Okay. I put in actually about 3/4 of the bag. Now, you have two choices. Choice one would be, at this point of the soup's timing, your first choice would be to recover it and turn the fire very low and let it continue to cook for another 15 minutes. Your other option would be to leave it at about medium high, where it is now, for another 5 minutes. I like it nice and slow, so I like for my soup to get all of the flavor. I don't want it to be rushed in any way. So I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to actually add the rest of these noodles and turn this way down. Put the cover back on and let it go ahead and continue to cook for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll be back. All right, let's take a taste of that soup. It should be finished now. Let it boil for just a little bit longer. Let's put that right there. That looks fabulous, guys. I can't wait to dig in. And there you have it. Gluten-free, Jamaican style chicken noodle soup. Enjoy!